E-commerce, inventory management systems, and automated data collection systems. E-commerce is in turn driven by the technological advances of the semiconductor industry, and is the largest sector of the electronics industry. Modern electronic commerce typically uses the World Wide Web for at least one part of the transaction's life cycle, although it may also use other technologies such as email. Typical e-commerce transactions include the purchase of online books and music purchases, and to a less extent, customized, personalized online liquor store inventory services. There are three areas of e-commerce: online retailing, electronic markets, and online auctions. E-commerce is supported by electronic business. E-commerce businesses may also employ some or all of the followings. A timeline for the development of e-commerce. Some common applications related to electronic commerce are: in the United States, California's Electronic Commerce Act. These activities include the use of commercial emails, online advertising, and consumer privacy. The Can-Spam Act of 2003 establishes national standards for direct marketing over email. The Federal Trade Commission Act regulates all forms of advertising, including online advertising, and states that advertising must be truthful and non-deceptive, using its authority under Section 5 of the FTC Act, which prohibits unfair or deceptive practices. The FTC has brought a number of cases to enforce the promises in corporate privacy statements, including promises about the security of consumers' personal information. As a result, any corporate privacy policy related to e-commerce activity may be subject to enforcement by the FTC. The Ryan Haidt Online Pharmacy Consumer Protection Act of 2008, which came into law in 2008, amends the Controlled Substances Act to address online pharmacies. Conflict of laws in cyberspace is a major hurdle for harmonization of legal framework for e-commerce around the world. In order to give a uniformity to e-commerce law around the world, many countries adopted the UNCITRAL Model Law on Electronic Commerce. Internationally, there is the International Consumer Protection and Enforcement Network, which was formed in 1991 from an informal network of government customer fair trade organizations. The purpose was stated as being to find ways of cooperating on tackling consumer problems connected with cross-border transactions in both goods and services, and to help ensure exchanges of information among the participants for mutual benefit and understanding. From this came eConsumer.gov, an ICPEN initiative since April 2001. It is a portal to report complaints about online and related transactions with foreign companies. There is also Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation was established in 1989 with the vision of achieving stability, security and prosperity for the region through free and open trade and investment. APEC has an electronic commerce steering group as well as working on common privacy regulations throughout the APEC region. In Australia, trade is covered under Australian Treasury Guidelines for Electronic Commerce, and the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission regulates and offers advice on how to deal with businesses online, and offers specific advice on what happens if things go wrong. In the United Kingdom, the Financial Services Authority, which came into effect on the 1st of November 2009. The PSR affects firms providing payment services and their customers. These firms include banks, non-bank credit card issuers and non-bank merchant acquirers, e-money issuers, etc. The PSRs created a new class of regulated firms known as payment institutions, who are subject to prudential requirements. Article 87 of the PSD requires the European Commission to report on the implementation and impact of the PSD by the 1st of November 2012. In India, the Information Technology Act 2000 governs the basic applicability of e-commerce. In China, the Telecommunications Regulations of the People's Republic of China stipulated the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology as the government department, regulating all telecommunications-related activities, including electronic commerce. On the same day, the Administrative Measures on Internet Information Services released is the first administrative regulation to address profit-generating activities conducted through the Internet, and lay the foundation for future regulations governing e-commerce in China. On the 28th of August 2004, the 11th session of the 10th NPC Standing Committee adopted the Electronic Signature Law, which regulates data message, electronic signature authentication and legal liability issues. It is considered the first law in China's e-commerce legislation. It was a milestone in the course of improving China's electronic commerce legislation, and also marks the entering of China's rapid development stage for electronic commerce legislation. Contemporary electronic commerce can be classified